There's a certain truth the universe never lets us ignore. Energy never lies. Words can be polished, rehearsed, and dressed up in kindness, but the energy behind them always reveals the truth. When someone close to you secretly harbors resentment or envy, you can feel it before you can prove it. It's that small tension in the air, that unspoken distance you can't quite name. The tone of their voice changes ever so slightly, their laughter feels forced, and suddenly the warmth in their presence starts to fade. You tell yourself you're imagining it, that maybe you're being too sensitive, but the truth is, your intuition is whispering a warning. People can mask their intentions for a while, but they can't hide the vibration they carry. When someone truly values you, their energy is calm, open, and aligned with yours. But when there's hidden hate, jealousy, or bitterness, that alignment breaks. You'll notice it in the way they celebrate your wins or don't. When something good happens to you, they might smile, but it doesn't reach their eyes. They may say, "I'm so happy for you," yet something in their tone sounds hollow, detached, like they're trying to convince themselves it's true. That's not support. That's resistance pretending to be love. They might start showing subtle signs of withdrawal. Where once they were eager to share moments with you, now they're too busy. They take longer to reply, or they stop checking in. Conversations that used to feel natural now feel like work. And when you bring good news, you sense that shift. The silence before they respond, the short acknowledgement that quickly changes the topic. It's like they can't stand seeing you rise because it reminds them of where they're standing. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't always about you. When someone secretly hates you, it's often a reflection of their own unhealed wounds. You might represent something they wish they had. Your confidence, your resilience, your peace. And instead of being inspired by you, they allow envy to twist their admiration into resentment. That's what hate really is. Love that has been poisoned by insecurity. This kind of energy drains you if you're not aware. It's like walking through fog. You can't see clearly, but you can feel something heavy pressing against your spirit. You start questioning yourself. Did I do something wrong? Am I overthinking this? But deep down, you know when someone's energy no longer matches yours. You can't fake alignment. You can't force a connection to stay pure when it's already been contaminated by silent bitterness. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. Words are easy, but consistency is where truth lies. Someone who secretly dislikes you will show it in small, almost invisible ways. They'll compete with you subtly, interrupt you when you speak, or dismiss your emotions under the disguise of tough love. You'll notice they find fault in your joy, but ignore your pain. They might act indifferent when you're struggling because deep down, your vulnerability gives them quiet satisfaction. These are not coincidences. They are emotional fingerprints of concealed hostility. You don't need to confront everyone who gives off this energy. In fact, sometimes silence is the most powerful response. You simply need to observe. Awareness is your protection. When you see clearly, you stop personalizing people's projections. You stop trying to please what was never meant to be healed by your kindness. You realize that protecting your peace is not coldness, it's wisdom. Remember, your energy is sacred. When someone carries hidden hate toward you, it's because your light exposes their shadows. You're not doing anything wrong by shining. They're just not ready to face what your presence brings up in them. So, don't shrink yourself to make them comfortable. Don't water down your truth to make them feel less threatened. If your growth offends someone, that's their lesson to learn, not your burden to carry. Real love doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't make you question your worth or your belonging. Real love is transparent, effortless, and safe. Anything that constantly makes you second guess where you stand is not love. It's control disguised as care. So, trust your instincts. When someone's words and energy don't align, believe the energy. Your soul reads between the lines long before your mind catches up. The universe gave you intuition for a reason. It's your inner compass, guiding you away from false connections and toward authenticity. Don't chase people who can't match your frequency. Let them drift, and thank them silently for revealing themselves, because the truth always surfaces not to hurt you, but to free you. And when that freedom comes, you'll look back and realize the signs were always there, in the silence, in the smiles that weren't real, in the energy that didn't lie. You just finally learned to listen. Jealousy is one of the most silent poisons in human relationships. It rarely shows its face directly because people don't like to admit that they feel envy toward someone they know, especially someone close. Instead, it disguises itself under something that looks harmless, advice, humor, or even concern. That's why it's so easy to miss. You think they're trying to help you, but underneath that advice, there's a sharp edge. They'll tell you, "I'm just being honest." But honesty without empathy is cruelty wearing truth's mask. And you start to notice that their honesty always comes when you're feeling confident, when things are going right for you, when your spirit is starting to lift. It's not guidance, it's control. The human ego struggles with comparison. When someone close to you feels small beside you, they might not lash out openly, but they'll try to balance the scales in quieter ways. Maybe they'll remind you of your past mistakes right after you share a success. Or they'll subtly question your decisions. "Are you sure you can handle that?" That seems risky. It sounds caring, but it's really their fear speaking, not their faith in you. Their hidden resentment can't stand your growth because every step forward you take makes them feel left behind. They don't want to see you fail completely. They just want you to stay within reach, beneath the ceiling that makes them feel safe. You see, jealousy doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. It shows up in sarcasm, in jokes that hit too close to the truth. It hides in that smirk when you share a dream, or that half-hearted, "That's nice," that never carries real excitement. It hides behind comparisons. "Oh, you're doing well, but so is everyone else." Little remarks meant to pull you back down, just enough so you stop shining too bright. The danger lies in how normal it all feels, because it's not open hostility. It's harder to recognize. You convince yourself they mean well. You tell yourself not to be so sensitive. But the truth is, sensitivity is awareness, and awareness is protection. When someone secretly resents you, they often wrap their negativity in the language of support. They'll offer you constructive criticism you didn't ask for. They'll remind you of what could go wrong instead of what could go right. They'll question your ambitions, not to guide you, but to plant doubt. And the worst part, they'll do it with a smile, so you feel guilty for noticing the sting. You start doubting yourself, not just your goals, but your instincts. That's how silent hate works. It doesn't attack your strength. It erodes your confidence slowly until you question the very light that made you stand out in the first place. But what they don't realize is that their jealousy isn't about you. It's about what they see when they look at you. A mirror reflecting back their own unfulfilled potential. You represent what they wish they could become. Your courage, your progress, your peace, it reminds them of their stagnation. And instead of using that feeling as fuel to grow, they project it as bitterness. That's why their compliments sound like criticism. That's why their concern feels like control. It's never really about your success. It's about their insecurity. When someone is secretly envious, they will often try to dim you in ways that seem small but build over time. They'll stop celebrating your achievements genuinely. They'll bring up others who are doing better just to shift your focus from gratitude to comparison. They might even withdraw when you're doing well, as if your happiness is too heavy for them to carry. These people often mistake your light for arrogance, your progress for pride. But you're not responsible for the shadows your light casts in their world. So, what do you do when you notice these patterns? You don't argue with them, and you don't try to prove your innocence. You protect your peace quietly. You distance yourself not from hate, but from energy that can't love you right. You stop explaining your joy to people committed to misunderstanding it, because no amount of explanation will soften their envy. Only self-awareness will, and that's their journey, not yours. The truth is, people who truly want the best for you will never make you doubt their loyalty. Their advice will lift you, not limit you. Their honesty will heal, not humiliate. You'll feel safe, not small, around them. You won't have to shrink yourself to be accepted or second guess if your success is making them uncomfortable. Love that's real doesn't compete, it celebrates. It doesn't envy, it admires. It's easy to confuse jealousy for love when it comes from someone close, because they know how to hide it well. But if you pay attention, the signs are always there. You'll feel the tension beneath their praise, the hesitation behind their encouragement, the slight bitterness behind their humor. Listen to that feeling. The body always knows before the mind does. In life, you'll outgrow many people. Some will cheer for your evolution, others will resent it, because it reminds them they've stayed the same. You can't carry both their comfort and your calling. So, let them be uncomfortable. Let them misunderstand. Let them talk. Because your peace is worth more than their approval, and your purpose is far greater than their hidden hate. Don't let their jealousy change your generosity or their bitterness harden your heart. Keep giving, keep shining, keep loving. Just be wiser about who you share that light with. The ones who truly care will never feel threatened by your glow. They'll stand beside you and shine with you. The rest will fade naturally, as they always do when truth meets pretense. And when that moment comes, when you finally see their envy for what it is, don't hate them for it. Just thank them silently. They've shown you what love isn't, and that clarity will only make your circle stronger. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize not everyone is meant to stay. It's a difficult truth to accept because our hearts are wired for attachment. We want to believe that the people we love will walk with us through every chapter, that shared memories are enough to keep them close. But the universe doesn't work that way. Some people are placed in our lives as lessons, not lifetimes. And when their energy begins to shift, when their presence starts to drain rather than uplift, that's your sign. Not to fight harder for them, but to let go with grace. You see, protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's sacred. When you continue giving your time, your love, and your energy to people who secretly resent or undermine you, you are betraying yourself. You're telling your spirit that it's okay to stay where it's not valued. But peace is the highest form of self-respect. It's the quiet understanding that not everyone deserves access to your heart, your time, or your mind. Sometimes distance isn't punishment, it's protection. The hardest part is realizing that walking away doesn't always mean you stopped caring. It means you care enough about yourself to stop bleeding for people who keep cutting you. You can love someone deeply and still know they're not good for your soul. You can forgive someone completely and still never invite them back into your energy. Love doesn't mean tolerance. Forgiveness doesn't mean access. There's a strength in silence, in stepping back without bitterness, in choosing your sanity over connection that constantly hurts. When you begin to distance yourself, guilt will try to pull you back. That's natural. You'll remember the good times, the laughter, the shared memories, and you'll wonder if you're being too harsh. But memories are not reasons to stay bound to pain. Just because something once felt right doesn't mean it still belongs in your present. The soul evolves, and as it does, certain frequencies simply don't match anymore. Trying to keep old connections alive when their season has ended is like watering a dead plant. No matter how much effort you pour in, it won't bloom again. The universe has a way of removing people quietly when your spirit outgrows their vibration. You may feel lonely at first, but that emptiness isn't a loss. It's space being cleared for peace, purpose, and people who truly align with who you are becoming. You're not losing them. You're finding yourself. And once you find yourself, you realize that peace isn't something others can give or take. It's something you choose over and over again, especially when it costs you comfort. When someone close to you secretly hates you, the energy around you becomes heavy, confusing, inconsistent. You can't heal in an environment that secretly resents your light. That's why distance is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that love without respect is manipulation, and connection without peace is chaos. You owe it to yourself to stop trying to fix people who don't want to change, to stop explaining your intentions to those committed to misunderstanding them. People who truly value you will never make you beg for clarity. They will never punish you with silence, never celebrate your pain, and never envy your growth, you will feel calm around them. That's how you'll know it's real. Anything that constantly makes you question your worth is not love. It's attachment mixed with fear. And the moment you decide to let go of that fear, you begin to step into your real power. The kind that doesn't need validation, doesn't seek revenge, and doesn't chase after those who walk away. Your peace will confuse people who thrive on chaos. Your silence will disturb those who once controlled you through guilt. But stay silent anyway. Stay calm, stay grounded. When you stop reacting, you reclaim control over your energy. That's when healing truly begins. Not when you get an apology, but when you no longer need one. That's when your boundaries turn into a spiritual filter, allowing love in but keeping toxicity out. Remember, distance doesn't always mean physical space. Sometimes it's emotional distance, choosing not to share everything, not to over-explain, not to engage in battles that drain your spirit. You learn to love people from afar, to wish them well without letting them back into your peace. You learn that closure is not something others give you, it's a decision you make. You stop waiting for understanding and start creating acceptance within yourself. The beauty of peace is that it changes the way you see everything. You stop taking things personally because you understand that most people project their own inner battles. You stop rushing into explanations because you realize your energy speaks louder than words. You start valuing silence, solitude, and alignment more than validation. That's the transformation. When protecting your peace becomes your default setting, not your last resort. And as you protect your peace, something magical happens. Your energy becomes lighter. Your thoughts become clearer. Your life begins to align naturally with people and opportunities that reflect your growth. You attract love that doesn't compete, friendships that don't drain, and spaces that feel safe. That's the reward for letting go of what no longer serves you. You don't lose, you level up. So, when the universe removes people from your path, don't chase them. Don't beg them to understand. Trust that the same force that took them away knows exactly what it's doing. Every exit creates room for something more aligned. Every ending is preparation for peace. And when that peace finally arrives, when the noise fades and your spirit feels light again, you'll realize distance didn't break you. It built you.